Are we heading for World War III? We're actually working on a model that can quantify exactly that question. My name is Arvid Bell. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Anadyr Horizons. We are a predictive intelligence company that builds geopolitical simulations for the age of strategic surprise, and I'm also a 2024 Atlantic Council Millennium Fellow. One thing that's probably on people's mind when we're thinking about the next World War is we're thinking about past wars. Growing up in Germany, of course, you learn a lot about history and World War II and why Germany decided to go to war and unleash this terrible war on mankind. And so to me, it never felt like something super distant. And so that got me really thinking about what can we learn from how we got into the Second World War for war and conflict today. So Anadyr Horizons really started with an idea. What if we can catch the next war early before it even starts? And by the way, I have a big problem with people saying a war breaks out, because a war is not an earthquake. No war has ever really broken out. It's like people who decide to go to war. These things usually happen through a build-up, where there's an interplay between a leader, his advisors. There's an interdependence between the population, society, nationalism, other ideologies, and the leadership. There's probably some interdependence between that country that decides to go to war and other countries, right? Either in a positive or in a negative way. So you have to figure out a way to put all of that into a format that you can actually then harness with new technologies to identify patterns and then learn something about the war that might come next. So we built a platform, it's called Northstar. And what it does, it simulates human decision-making at scale. We essentially have models of countries, regions populated with digital simulated versions of people, of the kind of people who make decisions. And now we can observe these worlds, or you can expose them as the user to certain shock events or interventions or signals or negotiation offers. And we can see how these people react. I don't think that right now we're heading for World War III. I do think, though, that there are a lot of warning signs that if they combine into the perfect storm could make the next great war much more likely. Right now we have a hot war in Europe. We have a war that just was put to a very unstable ceasefire in the Middle East, and we have tensions looming in the Pacific. So what's probably going to be very dangerous is if you have more and more ties developing between these conflict theaters, and more political leaders around the world, or also societies, will look at them as intertwined. So everything becomes part of the same struggle. And that will force a lot of countries and people to choose a side. We obviously ran a lot of different experiments around different scenarios that could make a war more or less likely. And one thing we consistently find is that it really matters who is in the room when key decisions on war and peace are being made. More and more decisions in many countries are actually made by a shrinking circle of people. That's probably a warning sign. And it doesn't necessarily mean that World War III is around the corner, but it means you have more groupthink, more confirmation bias. It's more likely that when the big guy walks in, everyone around the table already agrees with him anyway. So that's a little bit concerning. If you are in a leadership position where you actually are able to decide who gets to speak up and not, you have an immense responsibility. You will probably have a very strong bias to go with people you are already agreeing with anyway. You might want to question that assumption, right? So maybe sometimes it can lead to a better outcome if you very intentionally ask the person you usually don't agree with, okay, what do you actually think about this? Opting for more diversity of thought, diversity of opinion, even if it challenges what you think, might be the right course of action.